when I bumped into an old friend of mine.
When I bumped into an old friend of mine.
We hadn't seen each other for more than 10 years.
We hadn't seen each other for more than 10 years.
So it was a real surprise to see her in my local supermarket.
So it was a real surprise to see her in my local supermarket.
We stopped in the middle of the aisle, mouths open.
We stopped in the middle of the aisle, mouths open.
Then hugged and chatted for what felt like ages.
Then hugged and chatted for what felt like ages.
It turns out she'd been living overseas, in Istanbul.
It turns out she had been living overseas in Istanbul.
And had only just moved back home.
And had only just moved back home.
That's why we hadn't seen each other for so long.
That's why we had not seen each other for so long.
While we were talking, another friend wandered up the aisle.
While we were talking, another friend wandered up the aisle.
It was one of our old classmates from high school.
It was one of our classmates from high school.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
And it turns out he'd recently become a dad.
And it turns out he had recently become a dad.
He had his new baby girl tucked up in the pram.
He had his new baby girl tucked up in the pram.
He admitted to us he was just trying to get out of the house for a while.
He admitted to us he was just trying to get out of the house for a while.
So we decided to go to the cafe next door.
So we decided to go to the cafe next door.
We couldn't miss this chance to catch up after all of these years.
We could not miss the chance to catch up after all of these years.
But it turned out to be a disaster.
But it turned out to be a disaster.
We ordered cake, but it tasted terrible.
We ordered cake, but it tasted terrible.
We ordered coffee, but it never came.
We ordered coffee, but it never came.
When one of the waitresses was rushing to open the door for a customer,
when one of the waitresses was rushing to open the door for a customer,
she knocked over a huge vase of flowers, which
she knocked over a huge vase of flowers, which,
you guessed it, smashed onto our table.
You guessed it, smashed onto our table.
And soaked us with water.
And soaked us with water.
Fortunately, we were having so much fun reminiscing about old school days.
Fortunately, we were having so much fun reminiscing about old school days.
That it didn't really bother us too much.
That it didn't really bother us too much.
So now we're moving on to step 3, which is a little more challenging than the last one.
Okay.
On Monday, I was
doing
my
weekly shopping
when I bumped into an old friend of mine. We hadn't seen each other for more than 10 years. So it was a real surprise to see her in my local supermarket. We stopped in the middle of the aisle, mouths open. Then hugged and chatted for what felt like ages. It turns out she had been living overseas in Istanbul and had only just moved back home. That's why we hadn't seen each other for so long. While we were talking, another friend wandered up the aisle. It was one of our old classmates from high school. What a coincidence. And it turns out he has recently become dead. He had his new baby girl tucked up in his pram. He admitted to us
That's why he was just trying to get out of the house for a while.
So we decided to go to the cafe next door. We couldn't miss this chance to catch up after all these years. But it turned out to be a disaster. We ordered cake, but it tasted terrible. We ordered coffee, but it never came. When one of the waitresses was rushing to open the door for a customer, she knocked over a huge vase of flowers, which, you guessed it, smashed onto our table and soaked us with water. Fortunately, we were having so much reminiscing about old school days that it didn't really bother us too much.